What's up everyone, Justin with GT Copper here. Welcome to the final episode of Holiday Tech Gift Guide 2012, and in this episode I'll be talking about smartphones. So instead of giving you my best choices for smartphones, I'm going to run through the different options that I think are probably the top contenders for your pocket, and you guys can decide for yourselves. So the one that I'd probably recommend the most would be the Google Nexus 4. Not only because it has a good price, but it is very powerful, and it also has a really nice Android operating system. So the specs of this device are a 4.7-inch 1280 by 768 318 ppi IPS display, a Snapdragon S4 Pro 1.5 GHz quad-core processor, 8 or 16 GB built-in storage options, has 2 GB of RAM, an 8 megapixel rear-facing camera with LED flash and full HD video, as well as a 1.3 megapixel front-facing camera, wireless charging capabilities with the Orb or even the Nokia pad actually worked for charging it, and it also runs Android 4.2. So this is a Nexus device actually made by LG, but as soon as Google pushes out the new updates for Android, you'll be getting it right away with the Nexus device. And best of all, in my opinion, it starts at $300 for the 8 GB version, and it's for the unlocked one. So definitely a very good value for a very powerful phone. Next up, you guys probably know about this phone already. It is the iPhone 5. So whether you're deciding if you want an Android or an iOS phone, it really up to whoever likes the operating system of iOS or Android. Android gives you much more versatility and customizability, while iOS gives you a nice simple user interface. So the iPhone 5 has a 4-inch 1136 by 640 326 ppi Retina display. It has an Apple A6 1.3 GHz dual-core processor, a 16, 32, or 64 GB built-in storage options, and they are unexpandable. There's also 1 GB of RAM, an 8 megapixel rear-facing camera with LED flash, full HD video recording, as well as a 1.2 megapixel front-facing camera, and also 720p HD video recording on the front, and it actually looks really great. So if you're doing vlogging, this is probably something to consider for you. And it also runs obviously iOS 6. So the iPhone does have quite a few advantages over an Android phone, and the Android phone at the other hand will still have a lot of advantages over the iPhone, but my final conclusion would be it would be based on the consumer itself. Everybody's different, everybody would like a different operating system, so it's really up to you trying it out and deciding whether you would like an iPhone or an Android. So the next phone I'm going to talk about is something that you also probably know about already, and this is a Samsung Galaxy S3. The S4 may be coming out probably around May next year, same time the S3 came out, but it's still a very promising phone among the top on the market, and actually outsold the iPhone 5. So the Samsung Galaxy S3 has a 4.8-inch 1280 by 720 306 ppi Super AMOLED display, so we have some really rich colors there, especially the blacks. They look really nice. They just pop out of the screen. And it also has an ARM Cortex A9 1.9 GHz quad-core processor, 32 GB of built-in storage, which is also expandable via microSD, 1 GB of RAM, an 8 megapixel rear-facing camera with LED flash, full HD 1920 by 1080 video recording on the rear, and a 1.9 megapixel front-facing camera. It runs Android 4.1 Jelly Bean, but primarily Android 4.0. However, select carriers have pushed out the Android 4.1 Jelly Bean. So, if you're somebody who wants the latest and greatest of Android, like 4.2 as soon as it comes out, I definitely recommend going straight for the Nexus phone. But if you really don't mind about the updates and you're happy with the current update or software that is already on the phone, as well as a TouchWiz interface integrated by Samsung, then definitely go for the Samsung Galaxy S3. Next up, another option is also a Windows 8 phone. So if you're not a huge fan of Android or iOS, Windows 8 is also a good alternative. The Nokia Lumia 900 will be my suggestion, and it has a 4.5-inch 1280 by 768 resolution display with a 332 ppi, so a little bit higher than the others, but the screen quality will be about the same, and it also has an IPS display. The Snapdragon S4 Plus processor is only dual core, but it's still a very fast device with LTE. It also has 32 GB of built-in storage, 1 GB of RAM, 8.7 megapixel rear-facing camera with LED flash, a full HD 1920 by 1080 video recording, built-in optical image stabilization. So it actually has like a physical optical image stabilizer, which is probably in my opinion the biggest reason why you go for a new Nokia Lumia 920 is because of its camera features. It also has a 1.3 megapixel front-facing camera. So this phone actually has really good camera. It's still probably very comparable to the other phones out in the market, like the Samsung Galaxy S3 or the iPhone 5. But in my opinion, the Windows 8 interface is simple, but something that I probably wouldn't use, and the App Store is quite limited as of now. But this is definitely an operating system that has a lot of potential, so look out for it in the future. But at this point, it won't really be my recommendation, but for some people, they might enjoy the Windows 8 interface. Last but not least, this is probably just like an honorable mention, a phone that probably won't everybody would go for, but it is definitely a really cool device, and this is a Samsung Galaxy Note 2. This is a huge ass phone. Maybe everybody might not like the huge screen and it may not fit in their hands. I'm one of them, but I do really want to test this phone out. It has a 5.55 inch display, 1280 by 720, 265 ppi resolution, Super AMOLED display once again, an ARM Cortex A9 1.6 GHz quad-core processor, a 16 or 32 GB built-in storage options, a micro SD expandable storage, 2 GB of RAM, an 8 megapixel rear-facing camera with LED flash, full HD 1920 by 1080 video recording on the rear, a 1.9 megapixel front-facing camera, and Android 4.1, as well as a Samsung TouchWiz skin. So this phone is really powerful, as you may have seen, and it's definitely a phone that like I said, is really cool, and TouchWiz, in my opinion, is something that I enjoy, and it's something that some people might enjoy and a lot of people might not, because it might be a little bit too big for them. It wouldn't be like a tablet device, and it's also considered a phablet in a way because it's so big. But this is just kind of like an honorable mention, something that you guys should check out. It is pretty cool. So thanks for watching, guys. This is the end of my series of Holiday Tech Gift Guide 2012. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helped you make your decision for the holiday season. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in my next video.